Mr. Harmless here, and I'm helping you out with some Algebra 1. And this is example number 1. The question says, sketch the graph of each line. And then it says, then compare and contrast. Compare means what's the same, and contrast means what's different. Okay? So before I do anything, let's just think about what this means when we're graphing this line. Okay? You may remember that y equals mx plus b is a thing, right? The thing about this is when your equation looks like this, the m, the number in front of the x, is always your slope. So whatever number is directly in front of my x is my slope. The number directly after the x, whatever number that is, represented by the letter b, is going to be your y-intercept. So if I'm graphing this line, the first thing I do is I just look at the equation, and since it looks right, y equals some number x, this means that I can just look at this and know this is my y-intercept, -1. So I'm going to cross at -1. So I'm going to put a little dot there, so I remember this is where my line is crossing. I don't know if it's going this way or this way. Now my slope is 1/3. Okay, now you may remember with slope, it's rise over run. So that means that the rise of this line is 1. So from this point, not from 0, but from this point where it crosses, I'm going to go up 1. And then the run is 3. I'm going to go to the right 3. I'm going to put another dot just so I remember where it's at. And then I'm going to graph my line. So I know this line is going like this. Now, if I go to graph this line, the only difference is, in fact, this is going to come into play when I answer that compare and contrast. The only difference is this little negative right here. So notice my y-intercept, the number after the x, is the same. So this one is also going to cross at -1. But my slope, same, right, numerical value, 1/3, but this one is negative, which means now my rise, I'm going to write this over here, -1/3. So my rise is a -1. So instead of going up 1, I'm going to go down 1. But I'm still going to go to the right 3. The negative only makes one of these negative. It does not make both of them negative. So I'm going to go down 1 and to the right 3. Put a dot, and now I know my line is going to go this way. Now, if I'm comparing, what your teacher is going to look for is something along the lines of saying, hey, what's the same is the y-intercept. Y-intercept is the same for both. So you could put y-intercept. You could put is the same. Both cross at -1. But what's different is the slopes. Slopes are different. Okay. One is positive. First line is positive slope. And the other line is negative slope. Okay. So your teacher may want you to be a little bit more thorough with your explanation, writing this out. I'm just giving you some key points to make sure that you mention. Okay. Hope this was helpful. Let me know, and I'll help you out.